Okay, everybody, I am terribly sorry for being very late. I had to make a new stream. Don't know why it wasn't working, but we're here. It's Wednesday. It's my regular quiz slot in real life when we're not in lockdown is on a Wednesday night. So hopefully you've managed to fight through all of the technical issues I've had and will be able to join me soon. I'm going to hang around for a minute and see if you guys can find me. We'll give you a minute. Hello. I'll put this back up for a sec and try and share the new. Couple of people joining us. I'll keep it for me for now. Thanks. That's not the link. Finally here. We'll be with you in a minute, everybody. Okay, bear with me, everyone. We're here. Sorry for the delay. We'll give a few more minutes for anyone else who's straggling. Hello, those of you joining us. Sorry for the delay. We'll give it one more minute and we'll start the quiz proper. Okay, everybody. Sorry I had technical issues. I don't know what they were, but I rectified it by making a new quiz stream, badly capitalized. So hopefully you found it. You're ready to quiz. Apologies for the delay. Hopefully a few more people will make it in here, and we'll be ready to quiz. Once again, apologies. My mistake. I don't know what it was, but I made it. My usual questions are, what are you drinking, and what did you have for dinner? Chuck those in the chat while we wait for the last stragglers, and hopefully those people make it. Okay, well, I'll start the quiz because you guys have made it here, and if anyone else who was offended by my technical errors didn't make it, it's my fault. But, you know, we'll start the quiz with question 1. So here it is. It's Wednesday night, Treehouse Quizzes. Here's question 1. What was the name of the best-selling blue hedgehog who starred in a series of video games by Sega? So question 1, what was the name of the best-selling blue hedgehog who starred in a series of video games by Sega? That was question 1. Sorry for the lasagna and tinnies, prawn linguine and tea. That's nice, Adina. That sounds tasty. I haven't had my dinner yet because of the delay, the technical delay. It's my fault. So that was question 1. I'll say it once more. What was the name of the best-selling blue hedgehog who starred in a series of video games by Sega? David Barker, not dinner yet. Still full from lunch. Oh, what's wrong with the sound? Hopefully you're hearing me through good sound. Is there something wrong with it? Can everybody hear me? Okay. Okay. Well, I'll try question 2 and hopefully you can hear me, and if you've still got issues, throw it in the chat. Question 2, which element is number 1 on the periodic table? Question number 2, which element is number 1 on the periodic table? Maybe it was too close to a fan. Maybe it was that. Question 2, which element is number 1 on the periodic table? Basie. Oh, well, that's just my voice, Adina. I can't fix that. Question 3. Question 3. The final public performance of the Beatles took place on a rooftop in which city? Question 3. The final public performance of the Beatles took place on a rooftop in which city? Okay, thank you. Question 4. Which was the first film to be released in the Indiana Jones franchise? Question 4. Which was the first film to be released in the Indiana Jones franchise? Okay. Question 5 is our first picture. Question 5 is picture number 1. Here it is. Oh, he's gone into it. There it is. Picture number 1 is name the artist who released the album Pictured. It is here next to me in digital space. So question 5 is picture number 1. Name the artist who released the album Pictured. Here's the album Pictured. I'll leave that up for a second. So name the artist who released this album, the album that's pictured. Maybe you know who this person is. It's not an album I own, and that's not a clue. So that's question 5. I'll put it back down again. You can see it again if you need it later. Question 6. Which country holds the record for the most Olympic medals stripped for doping violations? Question 6. Which country holds the record for the most medals stripped for doping violations? Which country is it? That's question 6. There's smoked mackerel pate, mother. How very delicious sounding. Question 7. What was the currency in Germany before the euro? What was it? What was the currency in Germany before the euro? That's question 7. What was Germany's currency before they adopted the euro? Bit of pate. Oh. Question 8. A long tradition ended when JFK became the last president to wear what at a presidential inauguration? For good reason it was ended. Question 8. A long tradition ended when John F. Kennedy became the last president to wear what at a presidential inauguration? Okay. Question 9. Question 9. Originally founded in 1959, Tamala Records became which famous record label? Question 9. Originally founded in 1959, Tamala Records, T-A-M-L-A, Tamala Records, became which famous record label? Question 10 is the second picture in the quiz this evening. Here comes question 10. It is an anagram. Bam! Abel Norris. I know a few of them, but they're not the solution to this question. The question is solve the anagram. The solution is the name of an actor. An actor. And remember, when I say actor, it's a non-gendered professional identifier. So that opens this up to everybody. Everybody. So name the actor whose name is in here, scrambled together. Abel Norris. Give me a moment. Question 11. I'll leave this here for a minute, but question 11. Which company used as a slogan, connecting people? Question 11. Which company uses the slogan, connecting people? That was question 11. Which company uses the slogan, connecting people? Question 12. Although it is never mentioned in the novels or short stories, what is the name of the type of hat that later became synonymous with Sherlock Holmes? Question 12. Although it's never mentioned in the novels or short stories, what is the name of the type of hat that later became synonymous with Sherlock Holmes? What kind of hat is that? Question number 13. In what decade was Stevie Wonder's first album released? In what decade was Stevie Wonder's first album released? Question 14. What are the names of the three darling children in J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan? Question 14. What are the names of the three darling children in J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan? What are their names? The three of them. Point for each of them if you get them. And the final question of the first half of the quiz is question 15. It's another picture. Here it is. It's going to take up a whole screen. Name the film. Name the film that this image is taken from. Which film is this from? Name it there. Yes, Dave J. Question 1, I'll repeat in a second. Bear with me. Any other questions you need to hear again, throw them in the chat. Question 1, David J, was, what was the name of the best-selling blue hedgehog who starred in a series of video games by Sega? Anyone else needs to hear any questions again, chuck them in the chat before we mark around the first half of the quiz. I'll give you a moment. Question 15. So, tell me if you need to hear any questions again in the chat. Otherwise, we'll mark round 1 in a moment. Otherwise, hopefully everyone's doing all right. Once again, I'm sorry for the delay in the start of the quiz today. I had some sort of technical malfunction. I have no idea what it was that stopped me from streaming. Had to make a new stream, but it's fine now. You're here. Michelle, question number 9. Question 9 is originally founded in 1959. Tamla Records became which famous record label? Question 9, originally founded in 1959, Tamla Records became which famous record label? Okay, it seems like that's the only one that I needed to repeat. So we're going to go through the answers. If you're playing against people at home, swap sheets and mark them. Haha. If you're just marking yourself or a team that's playing at home, here come the answers with round number 1. So question 1, the name of the best-selling Blue Hedgehog who starred in a series of video games from Sega. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. He's obviously fast and blue and spins around and eats chili dogs. Question number 2 was the element that's number 1 on the periodic table, and that is, I sound tinny. Which, let me check. I'll check my input device at the break. Question number 2, which element is number 1 on the periodic table? Is hydrogen. Hydrogen. Question 3, the first public performance of the final public performance of the Beatles took place on a rooftop. In which city? It was London. Question number 5, picture 1. Picture number 1 was this. And this album was released by Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson. Not to be mistaken for John Jackson. It was Jack Johnson. That was the answer for question 5. Question 6. The country that holds the most Olympic medals record for doping violations. Surprise! It's Russia. Because, they're the ones that get caught. Question 7. The currency in Germany before the euro was the Deutschmark. The Deutschmark. Question 8, ending a long tradition, JFK was the first president to not wear a top hat at inauguration. Everyone before him had worn a top hat, like a knob. Question 9, Tamla Records, founded in 1959, turned into, or was kind of absorbed into, Motown Records. Tamla Motown is actually the full name. Question 10, was the second picture, was the anagram. The solution is Brie Larson. I missed the answer to question 4. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Tamsin. Question 4 was the first film to be released in Indiana Jones franchise. It was Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is Brie Larson. And yeah, sorry for my bad. That was question 10. Question 11. The company that used the slogan "Connecting People" is Nokia. Everyone's most likely for first phone. Question 12. Although never mentioned in the novels or short stories, the hat synonymous with Sherlock Holmes is known as a deerstalker. A deerstalker. Question 13. Stevie Wonder's first album was released in 1962, meaning it was released in the 60s. Is the correct answer for that question was the 1960s. Question 14 was a 3-point question. The name of the 3 darling children in J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan. They are John, Michael, and Wendy. And Wendy being the first written account of the name Wendy, I believe. So John, Wendy, and Michael for a point each for that question. And question 15 was this picture question. Which film was this from? This picture. And this picture is from Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy. That was the final question 15 of round 1. So, scores in the chat. Let me know how you've done. I'll try and figure out my microphone situation. If you are tuning in just for tonight and you fancy chucking a couple of quid in per player, I'll put the Covey link in the chat if you want to do that, or just to support Treehouse Quizzes to keep doing that. I apologise for our technical issues, but yeah, I'll put that in the chat too. But show me your scores. Let me know how you've done. Okay, so Farah 12, that's not bad. Becky's got 15, seems like the score to beat. David's on 10. My mum is on 13. Adina's on 3, that's not a great score at all. Rochelle's on 6, that's not bad. George, 13. Townsend's on 8. 11 for your parents, so they split off from you at the, hopefully, what normally I would call the acrimonious split of teams, so you can compete against each other. So that's not bad, guys, but Becky seems to be winning this round so far with 15 points. I'm just going to top my glass up with something, so I'll be back in a moment. I'll chuck the lineup on, and we're back in a minute for round 2, so bear with me.
Okay, everybody. Hopefully you're still here. I'm back. I got 2 drinks. I got water, which I'll drink first. And then I got whiskey and ginger ale because I'm terrible. So hopefully the sound is improved. Let me know if it has, and then we'll start round 2. Hopefully the sound's improved. As this, oh, he's put that back on by accident. As the sound improved. Hopefully. Oh, definitely didn't need that happening. Much better sound. Thank you. Okay, it was the wrong setting. Again, technical issues today. Being annoying. So let's start round 2 because it's time for round number 2. It's the second round. Here it is. Question 16. Which animal-centered horror film's tagline was, "When you can't breathe, you can't scream. Question 16. Which animal-centered horror film's tagline was, when you can't breathe, you can't scream? Ooh. I remember that film being particularly terrible. So that was question 16. Question 17. In the comic strip Garfield, what is the name of the dog? In the question 17 in the comic strip Garfield, what is the name of the dog? Much better. Okay. Question 18. Which American politician stood as a Republican candidate in the US in 2008 election and lost to Barack Obama? Question 18. Which American politician stood as the Republican candidate in the US in 2008 in the election and lost to Barack Obama? Who was that? Question 19. According to Guinness World Records, what was the world's longest motorable road? Question 19. According to Guinness World Records, what is the world's longest motorable road? Question 20 is the fourth picture in the quiz this evening. It's quite a fun one for some of you maybe. But question 20 is picture number 4. Quite simply, name that Pokemon. Who is it? Name that Pokemon. It's just that bit in the middle of an episode where they ask you to name that Pokemon, and now you've got to do it and write down the name of it. So, hopefully not too tough of a question for all of you. So, hopefully you knew who that was. Question 21. Who was the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity? Question 21. Who was the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity? Annabelle liked the Pokemon question. Question 22. Question 22. Which famous director began his career directing Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive? Question 22. Which famous director began his career directing Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive? Some cult films there. Okay. Question 23. In which country was the renowned cricketer Brian Lara born? Question 23. In which country was the renowned cricketer Brian Lara born? Question number 24. Monty Norman is credited with writing the musical theme for which film series? Question 24. Monty Norman is credited with writing the musical theme for which film series? Quite famous. It's a toughie. Question number 25 is picture number 5. It is coming at you right now. Here it is. There. name the sea pictured. So name the sea. The one that's sort of there in the middle. Which sea is that? You can see lots of technical parts with names everywhere. Hopefully that will help you figure it out. But which sea is that? Hopefully I've left that up there long enough for you. We can show it you again if you need it in a minute when we finish the round. But I will drop it off now. And I will give you the next question, which is question 26. TV physicist Brian Cox was famously the keyboard player for which band? Which band? So I'll say that once more. TV physicist Brian Cox was famously the keyboard player for which band? Question 27. The famously repeated line, "Show me the money," comes from which film? Question 27. The famous line, repeated, "Show me the money," comes from which film? Which film is that line from? Pardon me. That was question 27. The famous line, "Show me the money," comes from which film? Okay, question 28. Which actor, I'll say it again, non-gendered professional identifier, which actor appears in all of the following? Captain Fantastic, A History of Violence, and Lord of the Rings. Question 28. Which actor appears in all of the following? Captain Fantastic, A History of Violence, and Lord of the Rings. Question 29. Name 3 countries that the river Danube passes through or touches the borders of. You will receive 1 point for each, but only write 3 answers. Don't just write as many as you can think of and then try and hopefully scoop up all 3 points. 3 answers. So question 29, the penultimate question of the quiz this evening. Name 3 countries that the Danube River passes through or touches the border of. Just the top 3. You only get 3 answers for this. Don't try and smush it in there. Tamsin, I will repeat question 26 in a moment. I will do... in fact, I'll do it now. Question 26. TV physicist Brian Cox was famously the keyboard player for which band? So, I'll give you 1 second. Question 30 is the final question of the quiz this evening. It is our final picture question. It is question 30. Picture number 6. Name this actor. Who is that? Who is this actor? Who is the actor here? There. On the other side of the screen. Next to me. Who's not me on the screen. Who is that? Who is that actor? So name the actor pictured. If you need to hear any questions again, please throw them in the chat. I'll be waiting here to repeat any more questions before we mark round 2. So, questions that you need to hear again in the chat. And hopefully you've heard enough of this person's face. Ooh. Ooh. Haha! No, this person's face. So, any questions? Any questions in the chat, please? Because I had to force this technical issue to make a new thing. It's on normal latency, which means there is a delay. More than normal for the chat, but I will still wait just in case you need to hear any more before we run through the answers to round number 2. Anybody else got any more questions they want to hear again? Oh. Okay, Rochelle. Suddenly I just got a burst of all of those and she wants a crap load of questions. Fine. No, okay, the internet went. I will forgive you for that. So, question 21. Question 21. Who was the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity? Question 21. Who was the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity? Question 22. Which famous director began his career directing Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive? That is Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive. Who directed those films as the beginning of their career? Very quickly, question 27. The famously repeated line, "Show me the money," comes from which film? Question 28. The actor, non-gendered professional identifier actor, appears in Captain Fantastic, A History of Violence, and Lord of the Rings. Who is that? Who is the actor who appears in those 3 films? Question 29. The last question you need to hear before I give you a moment to ponder is name 3 countries. Only 3. Name only 3 countries that the River Danube passes through or touches the border of. 1 point for 3, but only 3, not from your list of 10. So, hopefully, I've given you those questions. You've frantically written them down. I'll give you another sort of 10-15 seconds to ponder it. Okay. Hopefully you're ready. Ready. Here come the answers to round number 2. Question 16. The animal-centered horror film with the tagline, "When you can't breathe, you can't scream," is from the film Anaconda. Yes, that terrible CGI film. Nowhere near as good as Lake Passive. Question 17. The comic strip Garfield. The name of the dog is Odie, spelt O-D-I-E. Odie. Question 18. The American politician who stood as the Republican candidate in the 2008 election against Barack and lost was John McCain. John McCain. He's not John McClane. He's definitely not John McClane. He's as far from that kind of charisma as you could be in a politician. Question 19. According to the Guinness World Records, the longest motorable road is in fact the Pan American Highway. Yes, that mar of the landscape. The Pan American Highway. Question 20. Fantastic question. It is, who's this Pokemon? Who's that Pokemon? This Pokemon is actually Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur, it is number 1 of all of the Pokemon. It's the first in the numbers. So there you go. Bulbasaur, everybody. That's this week's Pokemon. So that was the Pokemon. Maybe we'll do one of those every week. Question 21. The first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity was Constantine. Hopefully you got that. Question 22. The famous director whose career began by directing Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and... Ooh. Is that aka Route 66 times it? That is, Route 66 is a very small fraction of the Pan American Highway. That is just like one part of it. I'm not sure if it's the entire Pan American Highway. But chat me back if I'm wrong. Question 22 was the director. Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive. That is Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson, who made those films before going on to make other films, which off the top of my head, I can't remember. Lord of the Rings or some crap. I don't know. Question 23. The renowned cricketer Brian Lara was born in Trinidad and Tobago. Question 23. Trinidad and Tobago is the answer. Brian Lara. That's where he was born. Question 24. Monty Norman is credited with writing the musical theme for which film series? It is James Bond. He wrote the original theme song that's obviously incorporated into every other film song and in every film. Question number 25 was picture number 5. Which sea is this? This is the Red Sea. The Red Sea. That is the Red Sea. You can see the Suez Canal. You can see the Gulf of Aden. There it is. I'm not going to get too political on it. Question 26. TV physicist Brian Cox was famously the keyboard for which band? He was the keyboard player for, I think it's D-Ream. D-Ream. Capital D, capital R-E-A-M. D-Ream. Yeah, that's the thing. Question 27. The famously repeated line, "Show me the money," is from the film Jerry Maguire. Yes, Jerry Maguire. Question 28. The actor who appears in the following Captain Fantastic, A History of Violence, and Lord of the Rings is Viggo Mortensen. Viggo Mortensen. He's the king guy in Lord of the Rings. He's in History of Violence, a real guy with a violent history. It's pretty just violent for all the things you could possibly imagine of a violent film. That one goes pretty deep. Question 29. Name 3 countries that the River Danube passes through or touches the border of. 1 point for each. Hopefully, you honestly wrote 3 answers that you are fairly certain about. I'm going to list all of the possible answers, and you're going to take 3 points. But if you've got a list, I judge you. They are Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, Moldova, and Ukraine. I'll say that once more. Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, Moldova, and Ukraine. 3 of those should be the 3 answers for full 3 points for that question. Who knows? Question 30 was the final picture question of the quiz. It was this picture of this person, and the actor pictured is Tina Fey. Tina Fey. So, that was the end of the quiz for this week. Tell me how you've done in the chat, and I will probably mock you lightly. Maybe not. Once again, if you are able to chuck a couple of quid per player at Treehouse Quizzes this week, it would be great. It would support us to do what we're doing. And hopefully, most of you are just doing it regularly anyway, and you've done that already at the beginning of the week. But for those of you who are just tuning in this week, just for this one, and you've played and you've enjoyed it and you can afford to, chuck us a couple of quid. That would help us out. Keep everyone going at Treehouse Quizzes. So I'm going to put that link in the chat. Adina says, "Are you sure about Moldova?" Well, it's on my list of answers. Are you questioning me on the wrong? As in, but that's a wrong answer. I will check that. 28 from Farah. That's pretty good. 24 from George. That's not bad. My mum's got 19. Rochelle got 12. Wah wah. Indeed. David's got 16. Who else has got some scores for me? Tam's got 17, 18 for the parents. They've beaten you in lockdown. 23 overall from Becky. That's not bad. Had a shocker in the second half, clearly. Adina, 3 points. What happened? What happened? Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. Route 66. Mother, I don't know what you mean. The port of a name I can't say is in the Moldovan port of the Danube. There you go. Route 66. What, mother? The Pan American Highway. It's the whole of the Pan American Highway, not part of it. But maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, everybody, it has been a pleasure hosting this quiz this evening. I apologise once again for the delay caused by some sort of technical glitch that I have no control over, but seem to rectify by making a new stream. Silly me. Adina's got 6 altogether. That's not that bad in this grand scheme of things. You would have got the booby prize at my pub on a Wednesday. But yes, it's been a pleasure. I will be back next week, hopefully at some point, to quiz with you with less technical difficulties, but the same, whatever you call my demeanour, but it will be back. I'm very grateful. Thank you to Farah and Becky. Thank you all to everybody. Yeah, continue tuning into Treehouse Quizzes, and we'll see you soon. Good night.